For me, the Whidbey Institute is one of the parents of thriving communities, and that's because of the land. I remember right after the Thrive Commons gathering at Whidbey Bioneers, the first one here, talking with every Whidbey Institute board member I could corner about this possibility of thriving and what happens when we reframe sustainability into a third way, a third option. And I wasn't totally fair in my reasoning, and I'm still not, but it kind of goes like this. If we're talking about sustainability as in making it or not making it because we're on an unsustainable path and we're not speaking to the possibility of thriving, it sort of feels like we only have two options, and neither of which is very appealing. Death is definitely not appealing, and just getting by, doesn't have a strong pull to it. But when we add the possibility of thriving in that word itself, like if you want a marriage, do you want it to be a sustainable marriage or a thriving marriage? So there are all kinds of connotations in favor of the word. And so when you add that third possibility, you have two scenarios that are about making it, one of which is stellar, like clearing the bar, with a foot to spare, and one of which is making it, which is already very good. So there's a sense that our chances are pretty good if we go for it. And moreover, we have a reason to go for it because we have the thriving possibilities of creative expression, communities with healthy food, organic, locally grown. We're going to read Vicky's book, and all the basic needs are met. In the San Juan Islands, thanks to Gretchen and Morgan and others, there are a number of efforts that are underway to build what is already, in my view, a pretty thriving community into a more and more thriving community. And that actually suggests that we never get to the end of thriving. There's always the possibility of more, of deepening in our understanding of ourselves, our oneness, our interconnection, and all of the ways that we literally feed one another. And that's a beautiful thing about life. It's a journey. So the journey to thriving is not a journey that ends as long as we're on it as individual people. So,
what a great way to reframe the growth mentality, huh?
Yeah.
Grow our thriving.
Yeah. The thriving is already here, all around us, waiting for us to tap into it so that it can express through us. I know that thriving involves wholeness, balance, harmony, a sense of belonging. We all belong. The way that I've been living it since I came to the Pacific Northwest has been to just show up and notice what's resonating and follow the thread and do odd jobs or whatever in the process. So when I got here in 2010, I started talking to all of these amazing people who so inspired me at Hollyhock and seeing what I might be able to do to help them. A lot of it had to do with technology, Facebook and Twitter and things like that. And I noticed that all of these amazing people, world-class people who are here, weren't really talking to one another, working relatively in isolation. There may have been the mycelial connections, of course, but there was a sense of fragmentation. So I kind of took it as my job in connecting the global heart to defrag South Whidbey. And I haven't defragged anything. It's always connected. But at that time, I felt like I was defragging South Whidbey Island. And that gave me the energy to drive around and talk to people and fall in love with people here. And I started to notice a pattern. Just as a thriving community is inherently a compassionate community, happiness and well-being are central to a thriving community. And we need a way to measure how well we're doing if we want to, see how far we've come. And if we want to get anywhere with policymakers, we need metrics. And the Happiness Initiative, which is an implementation of gross national happiness, it's a survey that you can take in 15 minutes. It assesses your levels of well-being in 10 different domains. So social, connectivity, physical health, psychological well-being, work-life, time balance. We're having a gathering called the Thriving Organizational Ecosystem Summit, June 12th to 14th here at the Whidbey Institute, in which CAN, the Compassionate Action Network International, the Happiness Initiative, New Stories, Thriving Communities, although it's not an organization, it's kind of collectively managed by organizations, and the Whidbey Institute are going to get together and explore. Again, we're going to show up, we're going to notice what's resonating, We're going to follow the thread of what is resonating, and the sense is, and I'm as sure of this as anything else, we're going to discover ways to collaborate deeply that strengthen all of these organizations and allow us to make a collective impact beyond anything that we can do individually. In fact, I have a sense that siloed organizations are an endangered species, and that the only way we will thrive organizationally, this is a déjà vu, is to pull together and to start by asking the question, who's in the stream with us? Who's in the river with us? Look around. They're there for a reason. We must be meant to be working together. It's teleological, but it's helpful. And the fundamental question is, who are our collaborators and what can we be collaborating on? And I had some questions that I thought I would leave you with tonight along these lines. So where are we already thriving? We talked about that a little bit today. Where are you already thriving in your own lives, not just in our community? So every level of the fractal seems to thrive together. Just like I discovered the inner and the outer were inextricably linked, and that's not news to people, nonetheless. So where are we thriving? At every level. Where are there tension lines and divisions that are asking to be reconciled? Where are there still tension lines and divisions on Whidbey Island? In the San Juans? Not that we want to dwell on that. I mean, we want to definitely appreciate and focus on what's working so that it grows more, but we also have to be realistic about where healing is needed. And then, are we prepared to drop the knife that divides us and get to work tending the garden of a thriving, just, sustainable humanity? I'm sure the answer is yes. But by dropping the knife, that is, recognizing the division and no longer energizing that. So we have to raise our consciousness into a wholeness. And thriving arises naturally where wholeness is honored.